Alrighty.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sarah Pengel. I'm the Student Leadership and Engagement Specialist, and welcome to our transfer planning session with Jay Gillespie. He's going to kind of walk us through what general studies is and how you would go through the transfer process today. And I will be moderating the chat, so if you have any questions throughout the presentation, feel free to pop the question into the chat, and I'll make sure that Jay gets it so that he can answer your questions. At the very end of the session today, you will be able to enter to win one of our 3 awesome prizes that will be raffling off on Monday, the first day of classes. So you have a chance to win an iPad mini, a set of AirPods, or a Nintendo Switch. So pretty sweet prizes this year, just to get you involved. We also have a whole lineup of events that we're having the rest of the week. And we will post recordings to the Welcome Day website. So if you go to lfcc.edu/welcome day, you'll be able to see everything that we've recorded and put up there for you. So Rachel, if you do have to leave early and you want to come back and get the end of it, you can go to the recording, or let me know and I can send you the link for the raffle before you leave. And I can do that privately so nobody else can cheat. So without further ado, here's Jay.
Hello, and as Sarah said, I'm Jay Gillespie. I'm the Dean of Humanities, School of Humanities and Social Sciences. I'm also a history professor, so I teach that from time to time as well, and that's what I did for actually most of my career has been as a history professor. I've also worked for about 20 years in the transfer programs in community colleges in North Carolina and now here, and so one of the things that I find a lot of students do when they come to a community college and come into a transfer program, which is what general studies is all about. It's generally people that are kind of looking for what they want to do and what they want to major in, and with the idea of eventually going on to that 4-year university, which is great. That's really, really smart of you all to come here first because obviously we're about 75% less than everybody else. Plus, all the classes that you're taking here, you're going to have to take there anyway. And they're basically very general education courses for the most part. So, well, what I find is a lot of times students are like, okay, I want to transfer, but how do I do that? What are some of the things that I need to be thinking about as I start that first couple of years at the community college? And I'm not going to overwhelm you with a ton of information because you're going to be getting a lot of that over the next few days. So I'm just going to kind of give you a heads up on some things, maybe put some things on your radar. And then from there, you can just do follow-up questions with your advisor. You'll hear me say this a bunch of times in the middle of this, that your best friend is your advisor is your best friend. They will help you with any real specific questions that you want. You don't have to plan this out by yourself. I mean, I think a lot of times, because I thought this, I was first generation college. I thought I had to do everything myself. I didn't know that there were people at the college to help me answer questions about which class should I take? Should I take this psych or that psych? I want to go here. Which is the best biology for me to take if I want to go here or major in that? You don't have to do that by yourself. Now, you can do a lot of that research on your own. I'm going to show you some of the ways to kind of scratch the surface on that, and that'll help your advisor help you. But just remember, your advisor is your best friend, and they are here to help you with this whole process, which can be, I'll grant you, it can be really complicated at times, but it doesn't have to be. And worst case scenario, I mean, if you can't get up with your advisor or something, I'm happy when we're normal and on campus, my door is always open. Students have come into my office a number of times just to ask me questions about it. I'm glad to help you out with that. But one of the things that I always tell new students to do as far as planning for transfer is definitely start to think. Now, you don't have to think about this today. You don't have to come up with it today or anything like that. But one of the things that's really going to help your advisor help you in planning, particularly when you get into your maybe third semester, because your first couple of semesters are going to be all basically gen ed stuff that transfer pretty much everywhere the same way. But what you're going to find, and what a lot of people don't understand, is that not every class transfers to every community college exactly the same way. Sometimes it is better to take this class rather than this class. So if you want to go to JMU, then you need to go ahead and start thinking about that. And so you can look at James Madison's requirements and start matching up your classes to match their requirements. And I'll show you in a minute where you can find all that information really easily on our website. Or George Mason, the same way. We've got a lot of that stuff there. So be thinking as early as you can about where you think you might want to go, because that's really, really important. Because again, not every class transfers the same way to every other school. And as you get into your third and fourth semester, that's when you're going to start taking a lot of your electives, which really opens up the options for you to take things that sound interesting to you. Maybe will help you figure out what you want to do, and that's fine. I was undeclared till probably my junior year, and I got a nasty gram in my mailbox from my advisor. Said, "Hey, Gillespie, you need to get in here because you can't just bop around and take classes. You have to major in something." I was just having fun taking classes, but no, you do have to do that. So that's fun, and that helps you focus. But you also want to use those to maybe determine what your major is going to be and maybe knock out some of those major requirements here while you're with us. So one of the things that I always tell people to do is start thinking about and start exploring where you might want to go. So I'm going to try to, let's see, I'm going to try to share my screen with you real quick and show you how you can get started. So is my screen showing up for you guys?
No, not yet.
Okay, let me try again. As you can tell, I'm on the other end of these things most of the time. So, oh, I know, I forgot to do this. So show my desktop here. Now, okay, are you all seeing the LFCC main page?
Yes.
Okay. One of the easiest places to go is you can click on current students and click over here to the transfer process. And then you just click on here and it takes you to this site with all of their, and these are not actors, these are actual students that came through us and did all kinds of cool stuff. There's a lot of things you can do on this page, which is really neat. For example, you could, if you want to, go straight to the colleges and universities. I'll go there in a minute. But if you go here to transfer programs, these are all programs that are designed to transfer to four-year schools. And so something here might grab you right off the bat. And what these little things mean is this means you can get that degree completely online. If you see the little laptop thing, that means you can get that degree without ever physically coming to campus. I mean, right now we're not coming to campus anyway, but this means that you could get every class you need online. And this means that you can get it in an accelerated, oh no, that doesn't mean accelerated way. That means it's designed for transfer. This means you can get it within a year. But you may find all kinds of interesting things here right off the bat that you want to explore that has information in it that you need. So let's say you want to be a teacher or something. You can go in here and you can explore job outlooks and transfer ability and things like that. All kinds of really good information that you can play around with. So I urge you, and you'll probably get told this a lot in your SDV class, to go ahead and play around in here, see what grabs you, and you don't have to make a decision today. And it doesn't mean that if you decide today that you like computer science, that you can't change your mind and decide you wanted to go into business administration or English or become a history professor or something like that. You can always change your mind. Good Lord, my wife changed her mind 5 times before she finally got her degree. So that's fine. You're not locking yourself into anything, but, explore, because the quicker you make a decision on maybe what you want to do, then you can start looking around at the colleges that have the major that you'll need to get that job. So then you want to decide, okay, where do I want to go? Where's some information? This is the first screen we'll go to because all of these are the core or the universities that most of our students transfer. In fact, I think something like 87% of our students all go to either James Madison, George Mason, or Old Dominion. So we have a lot of information there for you to explore. Like if you wanted to go, I'm going to pick JMU because I'm a double Duke. I got my bachelor's and master's from JMU. I love JMU. I bleed purple. I have season football tickets. I'm still good friends with a bunch of people I went to college with down there. Love it. And if you ask me, I will try to get everybody to go to JMU. But I'll tell you in a minute why that's not right for everybody. But if you're thinking about JMU, we have all of these links in here. You have general information on transfer. You have our guaranteed admission agreement, which I'll go over a little bit in a minute. It shows you that we have some formal agreements in some majors with JMU that will lay out exactly what you need to take with us in order to transfer seamlessly to James Madison. If you're wondering what, and if you want to thinking, well, I don't know does JMU have my major? What kind of majors can I major in at JMU? Well, click on that link and say, okay, well, okay, what if I want to, I want to be a sociology major. You can click on that. It tells you all about how to transfer from the VCCS to JMU to become a sociologist, or to become a social worker, or to become a middle school teacher. If you want to do that, bless your heart, I couldn't do that. But all kinds of information that you have right here. And you can get that for any of these classes. I mean, any of these universities. If you want to look around at some other places, just go there and you can scroll down, and there's all kinds of other colleges that have the same information. So this is a really handy part of the website for you to go to, because it gives you pretty much everything you're going to want to know about any of the colleges in Virginia, and a couple that are close to us right across the border over in West Virginia. So those are really good things for you to look into. So I don't think I need to share my screen anymore. Do you have any questions about that? I know that probably seems a lot to wash over you, but just play around in there and you'll come up with things. You'll have questions maybe you can ask your advisor about, but there's a lot of neat stuff that you need to be thinking about right off the bat. What do I think I might want to major in? Where do I think I might want to go to school? And that'll, once you do that, you're way, way, way ahead of the game. So what are the tools you need in your transfer toolbox? One of the things you need to do, I told you I was going to go over that general admission or guaranteed admissions agreement. What we have with every four-year school in the state, this was mandated by the state, is we have a guaranteed admissions agreement. Now, they all vary a little bit, but the reason this is something that you need to know about and be aware of, and you want to go there and read the various ones with the different schools, is if you graduate with us, if you get your general studies associate's degree, then, and you've met all of the other, jump through all the hoops that JMU or George Mason or whoever wants for the guaranteed admission, then you will go to that school. You will go right in as a junior. All of your general admissions, all of your general education requirements that you took with us will be considered taken care of. They won't look at your transcript as long as you got a C or better. They won't look at your different classes and say, well, we usually don't like to take that psychology. We prefer that you take 230 instead of 200, blah, blah, blah. If you do the GAA, you go in and they don't quibble about that. So make up your mind right now. Make your commitment now that you are going to graduate with us. A lot of times people, they'll take a year or two and then they're so anxious to get to the four-year school that they go without finishing the degree. And you can do that, but it also makes transferring a little more dicey, and it doesn't guarantee that everything goes in there just right. So I would say, those GAAs, that's something you need to be aware of and need to make work for your benefit. And it will. It's a great thing. And it's a great guarantee that we have here. A lot of states don't have that. So the GAA, that's one of the biggest tools you have to have in your toolbox. The other one is exploring the website, looking at majors, looking at what the job outlook is, because a lot of times they'll tell you what the job outlook is for those majors. And you need to be exploring that, because you need to go and say, I really want to do this. So maybe this, whatever this is, there aren't a lot of jobs here. If you say, well, I love living in the mountains and I want to be a marine biologist. No, you better find something else to do, because you're not going to be a marine biologist in West Virginia. There's no jobs there. So you need to find that out. You need to know if you don't want to relocate to another part of the country, that may be something you have to consider based on your major. So you have to be doing a lot of this research, or you may decide that you have a certain lifestyle you want to maintain. So I want a nice house and I want to drive a nice car and I want to be a kindergarten teacher. Okay, let's try something else, because you're not going to have the big giant house and the big giant car and be a kindergarten teacher. It's a great profession and a lot of people do it. I have friends who are elementary school teachers. I'm married to an elementary school teacher, but that if you have certain expectations about the lifestyle that you will get with that particular profession, you need to be doing that research, or you're going to wind up changing your mind down the line. So don't don't make those decisions based on what sounds easy, or maybe what your parents told you. You need to be a business major. Well, if you hate business, don't do it. Do something else. But do that research. That's one of the best tools you can put in your toolbox, is as much information as you can get about different majors, and do these majors match your interests. Because you're going to have to do something for the next 30 or 40 years of your life. Don't hate it. I've been there. I've had that job where you have to drag yourself out of bed. Don't do that. Pick something that you would do for free, because it's so much fun that you would do it even if they weren't paying you. But the bonus is they're going to pay you, and you're going to get benefits, and you're going to have this wonderful life. That's what you want. So ignore everybody else who tells you should major in this, that, or the other. You do your research, use these tools we're giving you, work with your advisor, and find out what works for you right off the bat. Because when you graduate to a job you love, and they're going to pay you to do something you do for free, then guess what? You win. That's how you win. That's winning in life. So do that. And it doesn't matter if, I've got lots of friends that were music majors, and all their parents said, don't do that. You'll never find a job. Well, they did. And some of them are doing really well. And some of them are doing just fine. They're comfortable. They're not rich, but they're ridiculously happy because they're doing exactly what they want to do. Make sure you do that. Also, put in your toolbox all of your information about various universities. You need to find out, because not all majors are at all universities. If you want to be a history major like me, yeah, you can be that anywhere. But if you want to be a veterinarian, for example, there's only certain places you can go for that, or that have a pre-vet program. If you want to go for engineering, you can't go just anywhere for engineering. You're going to have to go to specific places. So, do your research on that to make sure you're planning to go to the right college based on what your major is. And so that, again, information is your friend. You need that. Also, look at those majors so that you're taking the right classes with us, so you can knock some of those out with us. But also, I want to tell everybody, a big part of transferring is making sure you find the right college for you. All colleges are different. I tell people that colleges are very much like people. And when I graduated from high school, I would catch a ride and go visit my friends at different colleges around the state. And I found out that I was really glad that I wound up going to JMU, because I loved it. And I wouldn't have been as happy at some of these other places that some of my friends went. They were fine. It worked for them. But you really need to take advantage of, maybe when things get back to normal a little bit, hopefully, fingers crossed, in spring maybe. We host a lot of things like field trips to different colleges. And so you can go down and go on to the campus. I always tell people, if you can, once they let you do it again, go do some of those tours. And if you can find a friend that goes there, see if you can go there and spend the weekend. And don't spend it with the tour guides. Spend it with the real students who are going to tell you what it's really like, what's good about it, what sucks about it, and figure out if this is where I want to go. You may think you want to go to X place, and you go there and you find out that it's huge. I don't like this place. I feel like a number. I like the smaller classrooms. I like the family feel. Well, then a huge university is not for you. Maybe something just up the road, like at Shepherd, for example. Shepherd's a really small, intimate little college, and it's a great college. It's got a lot of good programs. It's got a lot of great professors, and the class sizes are small. It's a really good fit for our students to go from here to there, because that kind of hands-on feel you get there. So you've got to figure out, when I'm going to transfer, in addition to what's my major and does this place have my major, is this a place where I'm going to be comfortable and happy and adjust to it? Because that's a big part of it too. It's not something that everybody says a lot about, but it is important. I mean, like I said, I would tell everybody to go to JMU because I loved it. But my own daughter, for example, gave me a huge old kick in the gut. She got into JMU, but we did our thing, did our campus visit and all that kind of stuff. And she wound up choosing VCU, which was for her perfect. I mean, she's a nursing student, and you can't get a much better place in Virginia than VCU. But it was really more about the fact she really dug the urban feel at VCU. She loves the vibe of Richmond, which I don't blame her. I like Richmond too, but I wouldn't have wanted to go there for college. I wanted that, ivy covered quad traditional feel. So that worked for me. Didn't work for her. She made the perfect choice for her. She's thriving there. She's doing really, really well. She picked the college that suited her, and you've got to do the same thing. So put that in your transfer toolbox as well. Take advantage of anything that we're doing that will give you some insight into those schools. So you pick the one that's right for you, not only the one that has your major, but the one that's going to be the best fit. And that's important. You don't think about it until you go somewhere and you find out it's not the right fit. And that's when people transfer. So that's kind of all I have as to kind of put on your radar, things to be thinking about. What I tell students when they say, what should I be thinking about? What were some of the things I went over in STV classes as people were trying to figure out where should I go? Those are the things that I had. So I didn't want to overwhelm you, and I wanted to leave some time at the end in case any of you if you have any specific questions that maybe I didn't address. And again, I just scratched the surface because there's no point in overwhelming you at this point with everything you could possibly ever know about transfer because that's just not going to happen. But I'll be happy to answer anything that you might have or something that might pop into your heads. And if it doesn't pop into your head now, that's fine. I mean, if you're like me, sometimes questions occur to me later on. If you want to email me, that is perfectly fine too. Shoot me an email anytime. I'll be glad to go over anything with you. But I think the biggest things are, do that research, find out what you want to do, where you want to do it. Is it a good fit for you? And never forget your advisor is your friend.
So Stephanie kind of put a comment in the chat. She said, and then there's me choosing between 4 majors. So what kind of advice would you give to somebody who's just, feeling it out and maybe has a whole bunch of different interests?
Well, I mean, that's actually really normal. And I mean, the fact that you've narrowed it down to 4 is great, because when I was in that same position, I was just there because, well, mom said I was going to college. I really didn't know why. So it was a while before I finally found a major. I think one of the things is just to go ahead and know that it's great to have those 4 things, but go ahead and go forward and explore a little bit. And I would bet that before too long, one of those, or maybe 2, because you can double major, or you can, remember, you can have a minor in something. So maybe if I almost accidentally minored in sociology just because I liked it so much that it seemed like every time I was taking an elective, it seemed to be a social class. So I came within 1 class of having a history major and a sociology minor. So you can do that. So you don't have to necessarily choose just one thing. And there are some people that even go so far as to have a double major. My daughter, in fact, might do that. She might wind up with a BSN, a Bachelor of Science in Nursing, and a Bachelor of Science in Psychology, because she got really interested in psychology. The 2 things, psychology is a helpful thing for nurses to have anyway, in a lot of ways. So she's actually exploring 2 routes that are related to one another. So if you have 2 things that are kind of related, you don't necessarily have to go A or B. You can do major, minor, or a double major. But I think what you'll find is that over time, one of those or 2 of them is going to kind of pull away. And as you take more upper level classes that are more specialized in some of these areas, you get away from some of the 100 level, just very general intro level classes. You'll find that one speaks to you more than the others do. Or you could just be one of those overachievers and wind up with 4 degrees. I mean,
Does anybody have any questions? Anything you want to ask specifically about transfer schools? Or as Jay mentioned, we do, when things are more normal, we take transfer visits, and we try to go, I think last fall we went to 5 different campuses. So we went to George Mason, we went to JMU. I think Chris Lambert at Fauquier took students to Liberty. We go to Shenandoah sometimes. So we try to get a feel for what campuses students want to be on. And just to echo what Jay is saying, like, get on the campuses and feel them out, because they are really, 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 really different. I went to Radford University for my undergrad, and then when I did my master's program, I went to George Mason, and those schools are so different. I mean, even the people that attend are very different. So I kind of wish that I had gotten more involved while I was on those campuses. So also looking at student life and seeing what that's all about and things that you can get involved in. If you want to, go hiking or go caving, Radford's a great place to go for something like that. And if you want to get into, lots of multicultural activities and things like that, George Mason's a great place for that as well. So just feeling them out, drag your friends, come with us, get on those campuses and see what they're all about.
And two, do some comparative shopping in terms of price too, because the tuitions can waver sometimes quite a bit. I find sometimes students don't realize that there can be such a huge shift between a public and a private college. And two, in-state versus out-of-state, things like that, although we don't have much to worry about because West Virginia will give Virginia students in state. But, you have to know little things that some schools may be holding out as something maybe you didn't know about, but if you did, maybe you would have chosen that. For example, Shepherd gives a 25% discount to transfer students. So that's something that's really worth knowing because, to my knowledge, no other school offers a specific discount for community college transfer students to encourage them to come. So that's, little things like that. Again, your advisor knows all of these things. So just, do that exploring because that's a nice little thing to know. I mean, you don't think about it now, you say, oh, 25%, but when you start crunching the numbers, you start thinking, wow, that's like, $5,000, it's a lot of money.
Okay, well, while you all are thinking about questions, if you have any, I'm going to go ahead and post the link for you all to enter to win our awesome prizes that we will announce the winners on Monday, which I cannot believe is the first day of the fall semester. And so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that you can enter. And it's just tinyurl.com/LFCC-summer2020. And you'll be able to fill out the form and put in that you came to the transfer session. And you can have up to 5 entries for new students. So if you want more entries, you can go to lfcc.edu/new student portal. And we have all of our summer series sessions. We talked a lot about leadership. We had a stress relief one about getting involved in student life, just a bunch of different topics that we covered this summer. And then, of course, there's the drop off, the pick up your goodie bag curbside. You can drive by sometime this week. We have different times. If you go to lfcc.edu/welcome day, you'll be able to see all the times that somebody will be there to hand out a goodie bag. We've got really awesome LFCC face masks. They have ear tighteners, and they have it clamps down on your nose in case you fog up your glasses like I do. It's a really comfortable mask, especially if you have to be in it for long periods of time. So we've got some really cool things in the bag for you. And let's see, something pop up. Oh, we got a chat. The link isn't working. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Did you put in HTTPS? Maybe try the whole thing.
I found as often as not, that's usually what I've left out.
Let me see. Might have to try another browser too. It worked for me. Let me copy and paste it into the chat so you can copy and paste it, and hopefully, and I will send it to everybody this time. And then if it still doesn't work, try another browser. And then if not, I will enter you myself. Did it work that time? Yeah, okay. And I also put Jay's email address in there if anybody would like to follow up with questions after the session. So just our email addresses are usually really easy. It's just our first initial and our last name at lfcc.edu. And you can also look on our employee directory on the main site to find that. All right, thank you everyone for coming. And once you've filled that out, feel free